Okay, so tonight on the menu we have some lamb rib. In Afrikaans we call it staan rib, so I guess the direct translation would be standing rib. But what it basically means is you make a big fire, you sit around the bonfire, but you put the lamb rib next to the fire, standing up straight, so that all the fat drips down onto itself and runs down the rib, and it just flavors it, and it is amazing. So what we're going to do, first I want to score the rib. So what I do is I carry a little carpet knife with me, because it's easy. You set it the depth that you want to cut it, which makes it quite easy to cut it. You'll see the rib that I bought is already scored a little bit, but I prefer it to be about 1.5 centimeter scoring, so I'm just going to add a little bit of scoring to it. Right, so I've already set my depth, and this carpet knife actually works quite easily to do it. So those of you that have cut or tried to score ribs before, you know it's not an easy thing to do, but with this it's a breeze. So I'm just going to do it this way as well. That's it. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is just marinate it. This is very simple. So what I'm going to do, let's just put it in a bucket. There we go, just in a little container. I'm going to start with the bottom. It's quite easy. Take some lemon juice. I'm going to add the lemon juice to it, mildly on it, and then some rosemary. So I'm using dried rosemary. I'm just going to spread it on top. There we go. I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. So it's just lemon juice, there we go, and I'm going to add the rosemary. So what's going to happen tonight when I start making fire, I'm going to put this up straight next to the fire on the little stand. It's going to cook for about 3 hours, so slowly, not too warm. We're going to turn it around every like 15 minutes, and then with this we're going to make a pineapple that you put on the grit on the fire. So you cut the pineapple in slices and add a little bit of honey and cinnamon, but I'll show you that. And then also my wife's going to help me make a Spinach, which is just amazing. It's like a pie filled with spinach, which is really nice. Okay, so I'm going to leave this. Before I put it onto the fire tonight, I'm just going to add some pepper, and I'm going to add some salt, and that's it. It's as easy as that. Of course we need the ribs to be on for 3 hours, even more if possible, but I think 3 hours is good. I'm going to start the fire early today. Okay, so these ribs have been marinating in the orange juice and rosemary for, let's say, 2 hours. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this grit. Afrikaans we call it a toeknyperrooster. I don't know what we call it in English, but I'm just calling it a grit because it's a type of grit. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the lamb rib in it, and then I'm going to just pour the remaining orange juice over it, like so. Right. Then what I'm going to do is just on the top, on the fat side, I'm not going to do it on the bone side, I'm going to add some black pepper, just grind some black pepper onto it. And it depends on how you like it. I like not too much, not too little, just right. And then some salt, just some normal salt. I'm grinding that on. Right, that's it. And we close the grit. And now we're going to just put it next to the fire, not direct heat, indirect heat. And as I said, every 15 minutes you need to rotate it. So I'm going to start just like that, next to the fire, with a little bit of an angle so that the fat drips down onto the meat. And you're going to leave that. It's a time game. You're just going to leave it. It's going to be amazing, this rib. So let's just leave it, and I'll rotate it every 15 minutes. There we go. Okay, it's about time to turn this again. I've turned it already to the back. I had it on a little bit on the front. But what's important to remember is these little things, Braai gloves. Else you might just burn your hand because these things become really warm. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip it and then let it continue. On the back I could let it maybe cook for about half an hour, a little bit longer, because it's not the fat side, it won't burn that easily. But on the fat side I'll turn it every 15 minutes. But yeah, so it's been on the front for half an hour now. I'm doing the back, first half hour is done, and I'm just going to continue with that. Then I'll turn it back to the front again and turn. Okay, while the ribs are going in the background, I'm quickly going to prepare the spanakopita. So it's quite easy. I'm going to just start by chopping the onion. Right, so if you've seen in my other video as well, I like to just cut it into quarters and then chop it like that. Right, I just roughly chop it. I'm not a chef, as I said before. Don't chop it perfectly. Okay, I'm going to my little gas burner here, and then I'm quickly going to get, light it so long, I'm going to get a pot. Right, so I'm going to just use a pot. I'm going to add some olive oil, and I'm going to add the onions. Okay, with the onions I'm going to add some pepper. Then you can chop some spinach. I bought already washed and chopped spinach, so I'm just going to add some of that in there, fry it with the onions, and then what's going to happen, we're going to put that in with the spinach and the onions that we do together. We're going to put in puff pastry, and in the puff pastry we're going to, on the fire, put it in a grit and braai it on the fire. I forgot to mention the other thing that you put in with the spinach and the onion is feta cheese. So I'll cut little blocks of feta cheese, add that, and then we put all of that in puff pastry. I'm just adding some salt as well. And I forgot a spoon to stir. Okay, and yet the lodge that we staying in, this was the best I could find now for stirring, so let's just stir this. Onions always smell amazing. Right, my fire's a bit warm, so I'm going to just turn this rib back to the bone side. But it's looking amazing. It's been slow cooking now for a few hours already. Right, because we're adding all of this to puff pastry, the onions needs to be soft. And you can almost cook the onions till it's really soft, and then add the spinach, because the spinach will go really quickly. Right, the onions are starting to become soft, so I'll almost add the spinach. And then when all of this is cooked, I'll just let it cool down a little bit before I add it to the puff pastry, because you don't want the puff pastry to be cooked as you add it. Hello.
I got this off.
Did you get it? What's that? A wire?
Yes. It's not pulled it yet. Where's the wire?
Okay, I think my onions is soft enough now. So I'm going to add some spinach, and you'll see I add quite a lot because the spinach will cook away. I added 1 onion, by the way, and this is going to be about 3 cups. I've only got 1 roll of puff pastry because you're only 3 people eating. So let's say it's 3 to 4 cups of spinach. Right, and I'm just going to stir that till the spinach is nice and soft. It really shrinks away a lot. So and you'll see this is so quick to do the spinach for. You just literally it's almost done. So you just want it to be soft, and that's it. Perfect. So I'm just going to put this on so that I don't burn my hand, but I can show you how it looks. So that's on this camera how it looks, that's on that camera. It's just a little bit of onion and spinach cooked. So I'm going to leave this to just cool down a little bit, and then we can continue with the rest of the stuff. Okay, so I've got normal puff pastry that you buy in the shops. Let me just see where the start is on this thing. So I'm just gonna unroll it, and I'm not even gonna flatten it or anything. You don't need to roll it with a rolling pin. I'm basically gonna fill half of it with the mixture that I made, and then the other half I'm just gonna fold over. I'm not even going to remove the plastic for now because else it's going to stick to the table. There's also a reason why I like to not roll it too thin, because we're doing it in the braai grit. Sometimes what happens, you open that braai grit and the whole thing will just come apart. So I will basically add it to the grill, but before I add it to the grit I would just brush it with a little bit of oil. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is cool down. Not entirely cool yet, but it's cooler than it was. Then you'll see I'll just spread it out evenly across half of the puff pastry. You leave a little bit of edges open so that you can stick the pastry together. Let's just get all of it. Right. So I'm going to spread it nicely. There we go. Right. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the feta cheese. So I've just got the normal tub of feta cheese. There's a quarter left from last night, so I'll just crumble some of that all over. And I think I'm going to do another half a wheel. So it's a quarter wheel and then a half wheel that I'm gonna add. And remember that feta cheese adds some salt to it as well, so don't over salt your spinach beforehand. Okay, you can see that looks delicious. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take this pastry across there. Right, and then what I like to do, I just fold the edges a little bit and pinch them. So you'll see I fold and pinch, right around. And you can see I'm quite dirty and a little bit of a cut here from I was removing wood to add to the fire, and I think that's what got my arm. Okay. And then one more side to do. Pinch and fold. Right, and that's it. And because I'm going to cover it with the olive oil, I'm not going to do an egg wash or anything on it. I'm just going to keep it like that. So let me just get a brush. Okay, so it seems that I forgot my brush to pack it when we left home. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drizzle some olive oil over this. And this would normally be a brush, but I'm just going to use my hands just to cover it. And the reason I'm doing is when I put it in this braai grit, I don't want it to stick to the braai grit. Move this a little bit. I'm going to move the braai grit to here. So what I'm going to do, I'm also going to make some pineapple rings that I'm going to put on the fire. I'll show you now how to do that, but I'm going to add it to the same grit, then it's easier for me to turn it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip this onto the grit. I'm going to remove the plastic, and same thing, I'm going to drizzle some olive oil and just rub it in. Okay, now I can set that aside and I can do the pineapple. Let's get this hands washed. Okay, and I'm just quickly going to do the pineapple. So I'm going to cut it. What I do is basically I remove the two sides. Okay, that one I didn't remove very well. Right, then I'm just going to take off the little spiky skin. This is quite tricky to be able to get the skin off, but not all the nice flesh. But some people say you have to cut it at a specific angle. I don't know if you know. Tell me in the comments. What's the easiest way to get this done? Right, but it's not so difficult.
Papa?
Yeah.
I just put the shoes on myself.
Oh, that's good, my son.
Wait, on my son.
Is there something in your shoes? Right.
Let me help you.
So now I've got this done. Then I'm just going to cut like
Mama.
just less than a centimeter
Mama.
slices.
Mama.
Okay.
Mama. Well, what's Papa going to do?
Yeah, just less than a centimeter. Okay. What I'm not going to do is add this to the braai grit with the spanakopita next to it, but I'm going to then cover it with a mixture of honey and olive oil. And because I didn't bring my brush, I'm going to use the spoon to do that. So I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of honey, and then the olive oil about 4 teaspoons. Okay, and I'm just going to mix that very well.
Mama, do you have a shower? You have a shower? Mm-hmm. Mommy, no, you have to, Mama. No.
Okay. And then you will have to mix it quite well. This honey has crystallized a bit, so it's even more difficult to get it mixed. But I'll get it done. Okay, here's my grit with the spanakopita in. But what I'll now do is just take the pineapple and put the slices inside. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll take this honey and oil mixture, and remember you have to still have enough for the other side as well. So I'm just going to put a blob on each side. Right, and I'm gonna spread it with the spoon. This works actually very well, but I usually like to have a brush. When you do this on the braai, it's actually nice. It brings out the sweetness of the pineapple. Okay, so I'm just spreading all of them. Okay, and then after spreading the honey and olive oil on this side, I'm just going to add some cinnamon. So I've got this little container of cinnamon, and there I've let it spill because there's a big hole on the other side, but you'll see I'll just add a little bit of cinnamon on top. Again, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn it around. I'm going to close the grid, and then I'm going to do the same as I just did on the other side, but I'll do it. So let's just flip it. Okay, it moved a little bit, but we'll sort it out. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add some honey and oil mixture on each of them. Right, let me go get some fire ready here. I've already got the fire in the back. I'm just going to scoop out some of the briquettes or charcoal from the bottom. It's not really charcoal, just the already burnt bits, and then I'm going to use that. Okay, I'm going to add some coals to the little braai area here. I don't want it to be too warm, so I'm just adding some coals on here, because too warm won't be good for the pie, it will burn. So let's just spread some coals on here. And I'm also going to put, it's got two settings, it's got a high and a low sort of setting that you can put the grit. I'll use the higher setting so that we don't burn things. There we go, that should do it. I mean, you can see there my ribs going very well. So let's get this little lid on. Okay, so let's put that there.
There's no food.
Right, I've got my pineapples here, the spanakopita, so I'm just going to put that and let that go. Right. Okay, these ribs are done. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let them rest for a bit, and then I'm going to cut them. Right, so the rib is rested now, so I'm going to cut it. What I like to do is turn it around, then I can see where the bones are, and I can just cut along the bones. So I would start at one end and just cut. And I mentioned it in the previous video, these knives, the Opinel knives, are so good. As I said, my mom gave it as a present for me, and I am thoroughly impressed. The meat is nice and soft after that. Cooking for a little bit more than 3 hours. It is really soft, and it's going to be so delicious.